What's up, everybody? Welcome back into the Dynasty Trade Show. We are so glad you are here today. You know what's up. Patreon.com/South Harmon if you want your deals featured, plus all the other good stuff that we got going on right now in the Discord. And if you didn't know, 4D Chess Dynasty Football Podcast is back. Adam and I are back doing our thing, which is fantastic because it is podcast exclusive content. It's something you're not going to find on YouTube. You will see our pretty faces, though, if you are a member of the Discord, because I upload the episode early for those Discord Patreon members every single week, where you can watch the actual video stream. But Adam, man, it's getting lonely back here. I am getting this itch. Whether I'm going to certified shit or whether I'm going to sign shit, something needs to go in that fucking slot back there. Like, it's got to go back. I got a football from the expo just over my shoulder right there. Now. I need something else. It just doesn't fit with the rest of those helmets back there. All the cool shit that I got back there. I need something else.
Yeah, definitely. And if you do want yourself some fan gear, some jerseys, you know, your team isn't like the Browns and starting off 0-2 and just giving you no signs of life. I mean, even when we're supposed to beat the hapless Bengals, we find a way to lose. If you're into your team, certified sh.it, get yourself some fan gear. And to Mike's point, listen, if you want kind of what we got a little bit of this going on here in the Patreon with some of the merch, but you want a box break, right? You want to press your luck, so to speak. Buddy, this is the place to do it. Sign shit. Like, I think we need to get you back into box breaks a little bit, you know?
I think so. And I might, you know what? I should stream them live when I get crazy and I just buy out every slot there is. Guarantee myself one.
Listen, I love this graphic, but nothing will promote the box breaks quite like Mike going live on one of them box breaks, buddy.
Get that instant reaction.
Speaking of which, if you do go to the Patreon, as I had up there earlier, we have a merch tier we're doing on every AMA. We're doing some of these. Basically, it's a box break type thing where you have a chance to enter a drawing, and if you win the drawing, you have a chance to press your luck. There will be one freebie, a South Harmon bag, a shirt, something that comes with winning that drawing. You have a chance to go, just like Beagles just did, get your pair of Jordan Retro 3s. $210 retail, I can tell you, because I saw the sticker. I paid for the sticker. Sent it to him for $35, one spin of the wheel. So make sure you check that out. Aside from that, let's go ahead and just get right into the meat of this.
Welcome to South Harmon.
Mike, let's start off with this. I saw this go down. I mean, knew that we'd have a chance to talk about it on this thing called the Trade Show. Mahomes in a second from CFF University is what you acquire to send away Jaxson Dart and a first in 2027 to Eagles 1 Fan 5. If you don't know, that's a little Miami Sharks helmet in there. That's our boy Eric Van Eck. Mike, walk us through this, buddy. How does it go down? Reasonings behind it for you making the trade.
Well, Eric and I did America's Game this week, and we kind of covered just about everything. Buy, sells. There was a lot of Patrick Mahomes talk in there. After the show, I just get that sleeper notification, trade from Eric. And me and Eric haven't done a lot of deals because we do think of things kind of the same, but we both like to, get our fuckings in. You know what I'm saying? And really,
of course,
really do it. When it came, I had to look at it a few times. I was like, oh, man, okay. Well, I don't know what Eric's doing on this one, if it makes sense for his team or not, but that doesn't bother me none. I'm like, man, I got Jaxson Dart. I had a plethora of quarterbacks, and we'll see when we go over to the lab on this one. I already had kind of a plethora of quarterbacks. None of them are like super good. They're decent. I didn't even bother to haggle with them. I just hit the accept button and said, fuck it, we're going to ride this one out, man. I'm going to send away a 27 first and my love child, Jaxson Dart. And I'll take back Patrick Mahomes, who I poo-pooed on America's Game, but I think for this price, I felt more than comfortable paying it for old Patty.
Yeah. So this offer kind of just, lobbed into you, and you're like, hey, we're not going to. Sometimes there's no need to try to pull the ATM or do something crazy. No. You need to haggle. You just take the deal. Mike, I look at the situation, right? AF Fuckos, which I will tell you, for me, easily my worst collective dynasty team. I'm in the cellar, and I have some work to do to get out of it. But that has you at the very top. Mike, if I'm a contender, And I'm looking at your roster. So you do have Tua, you got Jordan Love, you have Aaron Rodgers. You had Jaxson Dart, Mac Jones, starting. Was a nice little week. Tyler Shuck. As promised, as noted, he's going to be a guy with quarterbacks. But, Mike, I'll tell you this. For me, I'm willing to forego what can happen with Jaxson Dart on the good side, and especially what could possibly come along with him on the bad side for a first-second swap to Patrick Mahomes. I get it. I think the 27 first is definitely probably one of these things where if this was 26 versus 27, my guess is, I could be wrong, that he doesn't make this trade. But I think sometimes this is where, for me, where I'm at, and a lot of times in Dynasty, you can see, one, a class in particular get overhyped or too much value, or two, an asset that kind of gets disrespected and people don't really know what to do with, feel like they need to get rid of. This could definitely work out for Eric. I'm not telling you it can't. I think there's a lot more risk with Jaxson Dart here than really what I'm getting back for moving off of Patrick Mahomes. The problem is the market for Mahomes is very uncertain, and a lot of times people don't really get what they think they should for a Mahomes.
The other thing I'll say for Eric's side now, after digesting the trade and kind of looking at where he's at, he's not competing in this league. He's not at all. And when you look at my roster, like when you went through it, Adam, you want to project that out 2 years is kind of a dangerous thing, right? Mm-hmm. So this almost screams for me when I took it and I just did a quick peek at my roster, like my window's now. Right, mm-hmm. My window is now. Let's get some money. Let's get a championship. Let's try to share this thing up. And if you're Eric, having my 27 first and projecting this roster out for 2 years, especially with the pieces that are in there right now that have me in first place, that's not a very bold thing to do, right? Keenan Allen
sure.
in there, Devontae Adams in there, Javonte Williams, right? James Cook is a nice running back, but you want to project 2 years, on some of these guys. Kamara. Right, Aaron Rodgers is probably out of the league in 2 years and fully retired. So there's going to be a lot of turnover within the next calendar year on this team. So I think it makes a lot of sense for him too, not to ask for the 26 first,
sure,
right?
Yeah,
but to go, hey, I want that 27 pick instead, right? Like I want something that's got some upside. And judging by how I built this team so far, it looks like this got one more year in it before he shits the bed.
I mean, I definitely agree with the assessment. Excuse me. I do think, though, that when I'm looking at this, and knowing you as a manager, I think there's a very good chance that your team is not necessarily a team like I want to truly bet against. I will say this, even as good as you could be with a manager as a best ball league like this, you might have some things that just happen that you can't control. That being said, I think that's one smaller part of the play. For me, the dynamic would be this. If I'm Eric, knowing how classes can be overvalued, whether I keep the pick and make it or not, having multiple 2027 firsts, almost leaning into that now, would be my plan and my play, right? If I can look at the moment, I think I'm in the basement, and we have, I'm not sure who this is, B Person KE23. But my team's so bad right now that I have a hard time even getting picks off of the roster. So I don't have leveraged out picks yet. I need to continue to see players have performances for me to do so. So if I'm in this league in this position, the one thing I will say to Eric's favor is if he can continue to leverage out the 2027 class, you have 3-4 picks in that 27 class. You're going to be able to kind of really make some moves as that class fastly approaches, to do whatever you want, whether that is draft picks or that is to try to move them for players and, build out a best ball roster that way. So I'll say, to me, when I look at the deal, I still feel like I would have to me, I feel like the second in the deal is kind of where it's like, man, that feels a little bit like I'm making it too easy for you. But if I'm getting leverage in the 27 class and then I'm moving Dart when he becomes a starter or trying to figure out what his value becomes, I think I can understand it a little more from that side. I still think I want yours in a vacuum, though.
I would tend to agree with you. One of the saving graces, though, is that second looks to be on the later side, right? Like,
yep.
It's on the later side. It's the third team in the league right now. Now, maybe not on points, right. 382, and then you got a guy down in fourth with 473, right? There's a little bit of a difference there. But
his points for kind of looks very much like he's in the middle, right? But
yeah,
to your point, a mid to late second. So it's not one of these early picks. I think that's, a Let us know what you think of that deal. And is Mahomes' market too cool? Here's the thing, though. Even if you say yes, you know why the market's too cool? That means no one's fucking paying for him. The market is what the market is, buddy, right? So that's sometimes why it is what it is. Let's talk about this market, buddy. I mean, wow. You're going to get money moves tomorrow where, Mike, this is to me a money move. I'll be honest with you. Big Corey, you're ahead of the game. Money moves, to me, Mike, in money moves this week, in years past, even after 2 weeks, a lot of times I'll give you players to go target. To me, this year, with the lack of injuries at the position, the way in which we're seeing 2026 be devalued, and the way people are literally, I'm wearing the Halloween shirt, throwing away draft picks like candy. Right now, at the time I made money moves, which was Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday of this week, there was over 600 trades where people were sending away first-round picks in Sleeper.
Yikes.
The year prior, 2024, Mike, it was like 210. It's literally like 4 times as many trades that took place over that time where people are sending away first. The injuries that took place last year versus this year, some teams I think, they haven't seen attrition yet. And if I can get first, I don't even care if it is 2028. Mike, Harold Fannin has kind of reached a point where outside of completely dwarfing David Njoku and becoming the true him in this offense, a first-round pick is just a pivot that I'm willing to make and go back to one of the most watched pieces of short-form content we've ever had on the channel. The most exploitable tactic in Dynasty right here, my friend. An asset like Harold Fannin that peaks, young player. I like him. I'm excited to watch him. First-round pick. I'll even attach a third. Now that's a money move.
This is the easiest, one of the easiest deals that we've had on this one because we just talked about Harold Fannin on last week's 4D Chess about how we referenced the fact that is an exploitable tactic that still holds up, right? As much as you can like Harold Fannin or you're excited about what he does, the history and the laundry list of tight ends who fit this kind of profile, right? These tight ends in Dynasty, these young tight ends without ridiculous draft capital who ascend to elite territories where you start talking about, man, people want to give me first for him. I just take the first almost every single time, Adam. Like that, there's almost no hesitation, no question about it. There's no haggling back and forth because I've seen time and time again how these ones just tumble down the ranks. I mean, go pull up, Keep Trade Cut ranks or your favorite analyst ranks, whatever the hell for Dynasty, and go look at names on like Chigakonkwo, Daniel Bellinger, Brevin Jordan. Like, go see where they rank some of these guys. Those are just some of the examples of these kind of tight ends who ascend way too quickly. People hype them up because the tight end is so dearth of like talent at the position and elite game changers that we want to kind of make these Fugazi game changers, like these guys who are going to be the next coming, and they just never really get there, right? They never really get there or sustain that kind of value. So pretty heady move on the part of Big Corey to capitalize on it and go, I know you're just ignoring the fact that this is 2028, it's an afterthought, but I'm going to bank this pick and I'm going to put it in my pocket for a rainy day way down the road. And then it's going to look like an absolutely horrendous or horrible trade for this other manager, by the time 2028 rolls around. On mute, my friend.
I see that. I'm so excited to talk about all this because I'm doing all this over here. Mike, I've got the Keep Trade Cut rankings up. I'll probably edit this in here for you real quick. But if not, just know I'm reading off. Mike, he is on Keep Trade Cut at least. Tight end 8. Now, up 111 spots. Just to give you clarity, listen, yesterday's price is not today's price, okay? Just because you drafted him in the 4th or the 3rd, wherever you got him, doesn't mean that he's not worth what he's worth today. But here's the inherent problem. Mike, he's a top 90 asset. Where is there to go? Again, outside of pushing David Njoku out, there's an incredibly rare scenario where he's so damn good that they cut David Njoku going into next year, but they still would have to eat $20 million in dead cap. He's not going anywhere for another full season after this. So he can't go higher, really. He's not going to probably pass anyone ahead of him, likely. Sam Laporta, George Kittle, Tucker Kraft, Tyler Warren. And even if he gets a little bit higher, he's kind of capped as far as value. This is a perfect pivot point. Now, you're probably saying, well, man, but Harold Fannin's only going to keep getting better. 2028 first? Can't I get something sooner? Here's the thing, Mike. I look at this roster. This is the reason I pull up the lab. McCarthy, Rodgers, right? 2-quarterback league. I've got Genty, Kamara, Jefferson, Garrett Wilson, Pearsall, Harold Fannin sliding in at the tight end. No surprise there. We got Olave, J-Mo, but on the bench, right? So he's got Wentz. He's got the starter, and he's got Rattler. But, Mike, you're telling me right now, listen, I am high on McCarthy, relative, I think, to a lot of people. I know I'm not as high as some people on McCarthy. But there's a chance that this does not work out like people think. To your point, Rodgers, what's going on? Rodgers? I mean, Mike, this guy's in 2-quarterback league, really playing with some fire here. Do you believe long-term in Tyler Shuck or Spencer Rattler? I personally don't. They're going to have a very early pick this year. Mike, look at this bench. To me, one of the easiest things you can do, and the beautiful thing you just did, is take away that last little bit of future that he is so ready to get rid of. You know what? I'll do you a favor. I'll take it all the way out in 2028. I'll take it from you, you know? Here's Harold Fannin Jr.
Here you go, buddy.
This is crazy. I want the 28 first on a team like this.
This is going to be one hell of an orphan here by the time 2028 rolls around.
I'll tell you this.
One hell of an orphan.
The caveman, he's acting like a caveman. Like he has to eat right now. And I'll tell you this, you better win your league. You better win this league because this is going to be a cleanup that's not going to be fun. And this is where sometimes teams like this, you know what they end up having to do? In order to keep a roster somewhat palatable, they end up having to move off of a Jefferson, which is the whole reason they think they're ready to compete. And then it all kind of goes to shit from there, and you don't like what you have to deal with. So,
well, it's hard enough for good offenses in the league sometimes to just support one tight end. You know, to levels that matter in warp production in the league. Like, it really is. What is it for mediocre to bad offenses to try to support two of them? Right? Like, how difficult is that? And so far in the season, it's been fine for Harold Fannin, right? He's a top 10 tight end if you want to look at warp or you want to look at points.
And his targets first 2 weeks have been very nice.
And they've been fine. Let's just say that. They've been fine. Because his target share at the end of the day on this offense that has been playing from behind and actually kind of surprisingly been in a shootout or two here already is still at 17%, right? Which would rank him 14th in the league in tight ends amongst the tight end position. So very middle of the road. You're paying way more than that for a like similar tight ends that are in that range cost you way less than what a Harold Fannin is now.
For sure.
The only reason Harold Fannin has pushed up this is because he's young and he's a rookie, right?
Yep.
But
absolutely.
You go look at like what Hunter Henry's doing, right? In another mediocre, maybe bad offense. And I'm telling you, the cost of acquisition on a Hunter Henry is way the fuck cheaper. Like, we're not going to see any Hunter Henry trades, I don't think, on the trade show. Jesus Christ, don't put this into the ether.
Well, not
for a 28 first.
Not for any type of a first. Probably aren't paying a second for a Hunter Henry. All right, Mike. So let's go ahead and get into from Liga tomorrow. We'll leave that for a problem for the caveman tomorrow. That's definitely going to be the case. Now, Mike, I'll be honest with you. This is where, you know, let's just say shout out to the Patreon. Mike, I was actually just looking, okay, kind of at some of the last, when I'm making the money moves, trying to keep some of the things the same. Mike, I was looking at a year ago, okay? A year ago when Rome was playing poorly on money moves, I said I would send a first. And if I had to, I'd send a first and a second, but you probably don't need to pay that. That was when his price was going down. How in the fuck are you getting Rome for a single first when his price is, I don't want to say skyrocketing, but going up for sure, given the fact that the 26 class is, you know, thought pretty shittily of. Listen, Mike, I'm going to ask you a question. Let's say this is penciled in as a very early first. Let's say this is a top 3 pick. Are you sending a top 3 pick away? Like, let's have the conversation in a serious note before we dig into this actual trade.
It has to be. Like, it has to be. It has to be. And I have to look at it, right, if I'm the Silver Fox getting this pick. It has to be locked in top 3, top 2. And I have to be looking at it like, listen, if I want to rebuild this roster, right? If I want to rebuild this roster, I need to hit in Superflex leagues. I need to hit on a quarterback, and I need to hit on one that is going to skyrocket in value. That can go way past whatever Rome Odunze can, like way past. You know what I mean? Like, I got to be able to hit on the, as good as Malik Neighbors is, and that, you got him as Dynasty wide receiver 1, rightfully so, if that's the conversation. Malik Neighbors still to this day, unless Jaden Daniels really starts to be playing bad, is not going to surpass Jaden Daniels in any kind of like ranking system. He's not going to be traded 1-for-1 for Jaden Daniels. Like, there's almost no managers who are going to give up a J-Day for Malik Neighbors. And that's talking about being like the wide receiver 1, right? Like, being in that conversation.
You might see it rarely, but it would be off of like an injury, something where it's a more one-off situation.
That's kind of like upside swing sometimes you have to take as a rebuilder to go, as good as Rome is, and as much as I want to keep riding the ascension. Listen, man, in order to turn around this team, I have to luck into, the next rookie, the next J-Day, the next guy who's going to ascend to this top 5 QB position, this top 6 QB position, and surpass whatever the hell Rome does, even if he keeps rising up the ranks. But, I mean, we're talking about percentages here, and that just kind of feels unlikely. Like, it feels unlikely in this class.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's Lenore Sellers who can do that. But, I mean, there's not a lot of names where you look out there and you go, oh, my God, like, this guy could be a top 5 dynasty quarterback in a couple years. We could be having this kind of conversation.
Like,
it feels risky as fuck, man. I honestly, if you told me right now whether I prefer a guaranteed locked in 103 in the 26 class or Rome Odunze on my roster, give me fucking Rome Odunze, man. Like, just give me Rome Odunze. I'll figure out the QB thing later. But there is a part of me as the QB guy who kind of understands the thought process of it. But Jesus, like, why are we doing this one already? Like,
no,
you don't think this? Holy shit, you can't get more clarity and really lock in this pick as a top 2 or top 3 later on in the season and still make this kind of thing. You didn't get anything extra as like a juice piece, like a fallback or an insurance. Like, holy shit, like, if this thing hit, like a Bayshal Tootin, if that took off, like, then I can flip him for more and really multiply this out. You just did this shit straight 1-for-1. That's
no, I mean, this is
a tough sell, buddy.
No, this is stupid shit. Honestly, here's the thing, right? Because what you just said, that even doing that, Mike, I would never do that. I would simply never do that. Now, if you told me I could trade for the top 5 drafted Lenora Sellers, okay, fine. That's a conversation. But right now, Rome is playing great football and is one of the most targeted receivers in the league. If you're in a rebuild, I'm not shooting for that. I'd rather get 2 first and another pick down the road. I'd rather multiply if I'm going to have to get off of a Rome Odunze. Otherwise, I'm holding him and asking for something different. This is a 0% chance. Now, here's the thing, Mike. This is the type of trade that I've been waiting for. Mike, this looks like this legitimately caused a team to orphan themselves. You don't see the Silver Fox on here. You see orphan now.
He's not on here.
Dude, the Silver Fox is now an orphaned team. It looks as though.
Oh, no. What happened?
You traded Roman. Dude, because here's the thing, Mike. Salagoos's team, this is the pick you got. Buddy, look at this. This is a 3-1 team against the median. What are we doing?
Oh, my God.
Mike, this is
throw out every piece of analysis I just gave because this isn't a locked-in top 3 pick. Wow,
Mike, the reason I wanted to have that conversation was just more of a hypothetical. Like, let's say this trade happened and you're telling me it's a top 3 pick. I think that would be the scenario where you don't like kind of go crazy and nuclear in the league chat, right? At the moment, this is just. I'm sorry, man, Brendan. That was savage, buddy. That's savage. I mean, that's just.
It's disgustingly good.
Like, if you're telling me it's a pick that's not penciled into the top 3, there's no way a single first is getting it done. And if you're telling me there's a chance it's a late pick, this is just robbery.
So let me just give Brendan his like full money's worth on the trade, right? Because it is so in landslide, and this isn't to knock anything on the trade. Okay.
Yeah.
The only issue I have with him is when you look at the lab at his team.
Mm-hmm.
You look at it and you go, he's got Lamar Jackson. He just lost Joe Burrow in his super flex spot.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't really have an answer for his QB3 spot. And then here's the one problem I have, right? Because we're starting so few. Puka, Lad, Malik Neighbors, Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, and now Rome Odunze. You're out of spots for starting star wide receivers. Like it's good to have a dearth, but like this is going to be a clusterfuck for him on like who the hell do I start every single week? Like this man, Brendan should be utilizing the
Dude,
Start Show on the redraft channel every Sunday.
Here's the
Marv,
thing. Here's the thing. You got Marv and Rome. See, Mike, I've talked about this, and what's crazy is also if we're gonna keep this up, it's very rare, but you can kind of have a corner on the market as far as the young stud receivers, right? So you're telling me right now you've got Puka Nacua, Lad McConkey, Malik Neighbors, Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, Rome, and Marv. Mike, that's all the young receivers, not all, but basically all of them that you really want to have. So what's going to happen is you're going to be able to probably flip and allow any one of them to move for the right price back. So to me, that first, while you could say, hey, that first could go get you a quarterback, sure. But if I can get Rome, and now I can find a way to move Rome into my starting roster and move off of whoever you value most, Puka, Jamar, Jefferson, one of these guys can net you a quarterback. Now, maybe it's not going to be the top overall pick, like a Allen or a J-Day or Lamar, but you know what? That first wasn't getting you that either. So I still think it's a great move. I do think, to your point, though, I mean, I'm looking to make sure when I have a team this good, I don't want to keep starting at my super flex spot for more than a week at most.
Right.
Wide receivers.
I actually want a good solid quarterback in that spot. But yeah, but Brendan's in a great spot, right? He's got a dearth of young, good. He cornered the market on young, good wide receivers for the most part.
And it's really hard to do that, frankly.
Scroll down and look at his draft.
Oh, sorry. Does he have more picks too?
He's got 2 more firsts in 2026 and 2 firsts in 2027.
This is an embarrassment of riches, you know. I mean,
I'm telling you, this might be the team where it's going to be an overpay, but you know, Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts, Jaden Daniels. Like
that's the other thing, Mike. You now can leverage a couple receivers to force a manager that has a stud quarterback but a weaker wide receiver room. Fuck, I got to listen to this guy, right? He's got basically everything I could want if I was to move off of a quarterback like this.
I at least have to hear him out, man. I at least have to hear him out.
Well, hear me out, Mike. Terry McLaurin and Kenneth Walker are playing. Brandon Ayuk and, at least for now, Jordan Addison are not playing.
Yes.
This is Krusty Land. That's a best ball start 10, 12-team, 2 tight end league. Mike, talk to me about this. If you are Caw 343, you making this bird call? This seems a little dicey. Where are you at?
Yeah, it seems pretty not good. Pretty not good. So the easiest analysis you have is I don't give a shit who you pick. For some people, they might argue with me on this one, but Terry McLaurin over Jordan Addison. I'd rather have Terry McLaurin, not only because he's playing, but even if Jordan Addison was playing right now, I would still rather have the number 1 wide receiver on the team than the number 2 on the team, right?
Yep.
And I'm just thinking about production, right? And I'm going to guess Mr. Wonderful's team is in producing mode. Now, you want to talk long-term dynasty value? Maybe there's going to be more people who are hyped up on Jordan Addison or think there's going to be this massive ascension. Whatever the hell it's going to be. I mean, he's a good number 2 wide receiver, but he's kind of capped. He's going to be capped as long as Jefferson's there. And I don't think Jefferson's going anywhere anytime soon. So give me Terry McLaurin. And then the Kenneth Walker Ayuk thing, even though we're having this weird Kenneth Walker Charbonnet split thing, and Kenneth Walker took a hit after week 1, and then Kenneth Walker really rebounded in week 2. Adam, it's still easily Kenneth Walker over Brandon Ayuk for me in Dynasty, any format.
Yeah, I think the problem is Ayuk coming off of the injury he's coming off of. You know, it's just not. He's a player that I do love. Right, I've loved Brandon Ayuk he's a player that I just don't want a part of really at anywhere near what his Dynasty relative hovering cost is. So if I can pivot that into a Walker, to your point, it's just it's not even a decision. It's not even a judgment call.
Why he's still on the somewhat youthful side. Like the age is getting up there, right? We're getting to that point where the rebounds usually don't seem to happen for wide receivers because we're on to the next new greatest thing, right? Like Rome Odunze's ascension. We're on to Emeka Buka's ascension, right? These guys are going to get pushed down.
Ayuk's about to be in that McLaurin range here by the time he's back.
You have a major injury concern, right? So then we have delayed production, right? And the other big problem he has, it wasn't like he ever started from a great place of elite value, right? Like there was no insulation there. It wasn't like he was talked about like Amon-Ra. He wasn't talked about like he wasn't even in the fucking realm of AJ Brown, who also like you start from a bad position.
It felt like
You
we had to
start-
beg, borrow, and steal to get him into
Yes.
the top 15,
yes,
right? To get people to
and
believe.
if you're already starting low, like I don't see any type of major value rebound, right? If it were to come, it's going to be he comes back after this injury and looks amazing right out of the gate. And we're like, man, he did miss the first 4 weeks or 5 weeks or 6 weeks or whatever. But you see, he finished with 1,000 yards and almost double-digit touchdowns, and he was just cooking people and almost breaking warp with how well he was doing on a per-game basis. That's the kind of leverage you're going to have to be. And even if he does that, Adam, we probably still wouldn't be talking about him as like a top 15 dynasty wide receiver. So I don't see any kind of real upside for it. Like at best, we're going to be looking at another Devontae Smith level type like dynasty asset. So I don't get the thought process behind this deal at all on one side of it. I definitely get it on the Mr. Wonderful side, which I said it last week, and I'm pretty sure I said it the week before. He went on a string of just, this is not you. What happened to you? Like,
I think
okay?
I think it's almost like for the crowd or whatever. Like you got to have a couple losses, a little vulnerability, just so that when you actually start winning trades again, people are like, okay, they believe again. It's not just this.
I gotcha.
Yeah, it's not like this
story.
Yeah, basically he's probably tired of watching everyone just dismiss all these trades that he's winning. Like I got to bring myself down so that I can feel the hype again. Because here's the point about this trade that, to me, when some of these Paul Wall, I'll call him type trades, Paul, Mr. Wonderful, like Mike, think about this. J.J. McCarthy hurt out 2 to 4 weeks, and let's just call it what it is. Realistically, has not looked that great for 2 weeks while playing, right? Moving off of Jordan Addison with that news, and then also buying Kenneth Walker after the scary, now he looks to be back or getting, the snap share still wasn't great, but Kenneth Walker's value and hopes, I think, rebounded after week 2. So you have those polar opposite things happening where it probably feels a lot scarier for Addison now. Fucking Carson Wentz for 2 to 4 weeks, and then we get, McCarthy coming off a high ankle sprain in there. Like, these are not, it's not like J.J. McCarthy's playing out of his mind and like, okay, yeah, I really want that Jordan Addison when he gets back right now. Like, what the hell's going on here? Bird call craziness. This is a crusty land disaster.
The only thing I'll give him is if you're tanking, right, and you wanted to get points off of your team, right?
Sure.
Like it's a great way to do it, like to solidify a pick. I feel like there's still meat left on the bone because you could have got him to throw you a fucking second or something, or a couple thirds in 27, or who gives a shit, right? Just add something to this fucking thing.
For sure.
Don't just go, because there's no real dynasty value upswing in either of the two players that he got. You're just giving away production that was already 1-for-1 worse than what you had. I don't understand it.
Now, here's one in the same league with the Who's. So, Mike, I mean, I'm curious here. In that same scenario, would you move off of Flacco for a third
Yes.
here?
Yes.
Me too.
Right. And you'll look on the lab, he's a rebuilding team, right? He's just trying to get shit off his team. I know people always want to milk the absolute most out of these spot start-ish quarterbacks, and Joe Flacco falls into that category. Like, I don't think anybody's saying, oh, Joe Flacco's, going to start the entirety of the year. He's starting right now, which is nice, and we'll see how long it lasts.
And you do have Dylan Gabriel for the Who's, so I think I can even understand, maybe get Flacco, add that to Dylan Gabriel. You're a contender, right? Give me the points for now. I will say this one, we'll go ahead and pull up Kaw's team since it's another trade in the same league back-to-back here. I mean, you're 0-2. I get it. The reason with the Mr. Wonderful trade that I struggle is like, listen, I want to build out some of these picks, buddy. I've got 126. I've got 127. They're my own. That's great. But I need to start building out some actual future capital. Now, you got another third here, but buddy, look at this bench. I mean, look at what type of cleanup we have to do, right? I mean, you don't even have a single tight end in a dual tight end league, which is fine. That keeps points off your roster. But, and speaking of points off your roster, Mike, I'm going to go ahead and take away the point you just gave him. If I had if this was around the horn, I'm taking the points back. Mike, you have Burrow. You don't have any points on your fucking roster. Jaden Reed's in the hospital. You have no points on your roster. You don't have to worry. You ain't beating anyone. Everyone's dead. The whole team's dead. The whole team's dead.
The whole team's dead.
What is going on? I love the Flacco trade, honestly. I think asking for more or thinking you're going to get more than that right now is probably not coming. So, fine. Move off of that. But, buddy, I mean, this is just – Michael Pittman is like the lone asset scoring points for you right now, realistically. Like Wicks.
Right.
But, I mean, everyone's dead here. You don't have to worry about beating teams with this roster. You really don't. You're
already good, too. And then kind of to circle back, listen, this trade was completely fine, right? Good job. And it's good on both sides, right? If I'm
Blitz, I'm doing the same thing, yeah.
Yeah, fuck it. Like,
and you got Njoku in there. You got the Njoku, Harold Fannin stack of both of them. I'm in on this.
Yeah, I'm definitely in on that one. But the Mr. Wonderful one, what I really mean, like, why couldn't you get something different? Why couldn't you get something better? Like, there was options. If I'm going to trade away Terry McLaurin and Kenneth Walker to you who's contending, right? I don't want a Jordan Addison and a Brandon Ayuk back just for the strict fact, right? Like you said, I don't have any points on my team anyway, so who gives a shit?
Right.
Like,
Terry McLaurin ain't beating a whole team by himself. It's not happening.
But let me at least do it for some shit with upside, right? Like, he's got whatever you feel about Matthew Golden right now, and the usage through 2 weeks is probably making you shit your pants, right? There's a realistic case for upside with Jaden Reed being out, right? That maybe they start feeding Matthew Golden and I get a rise out of him, and then I can flip Matthew Golden, right? Mm-hmm. Like, let me do something. Let me get something with some real fucking teeth to it that has a possibility of upside. And I may be wrong, and it doesn't have any upside. But I tell you right now, Brandon Ayuk and Jordan Addison don't have shit for upside either, right? They're going to be level for a while at, like, the same fucking spot. Yeah. Let me at least shoot for, holy shit, right? Can you see what, a Matthew Golden's doing here for, like, 3 weeks or 4 weeks or whatever it is? He's putting up Emeka Ibuka numbers, right? And we're talking about him as wide receiver 15, 14, something like that.
Yeah, and I'll make a subtle point here, right? In best ball especially, right? There's a bailout factor in the trade prior. So I'm going to go ahead and pull the lab off for a second. Go back to this trade.
There
is.
There's a
bailout factor where – see, here's the thing, right? Draft picks on my best ball team don't hold bench spots, okay? Guess what Brandon Ayuk does the entire season? Or, well, he'll eventually come back, but he's making me hold a 0, right? That's actually eating away from a roster spot that I can use to a player that can go into that. Jordan Addison, at least for another week, suspended is that as well. So for a team that's 1-1 and has really good points for, trying to make sure they have a chance to get into a bye, Mike, this is where if I'm taking away draft capital from my team here, basically it's a totally different scenario than taking away players that actually can move in and out of your lineup. So this is one of those things to keep in mind. If you are a rebuilder, it's not that I won't take a Brandon Ayuk. It's not that I won't take a player that's a 0 on your roster, but I'm doing you a favor here because you have bench spots that you're looking to have players in that can actually score. So that's one of those subtle points to, realize you have a little leverage in that scenario.
Yeah, definitely. Right? Like, I think at the very least, Mr. Wonderful had a second. I would have made him throw that second into that fucking deal.
For sure. If I'm helping you get off of 2 0s next week for players that can score, there's got to be some other kicker here. There's got to be some other kicker. And I ain't talking about a real kicker because I don't give a fuck about the kickers. No. All right? Speaking of Matthew Golden, speaking of Joe Burrow,
what the fuck?
$26 in Fab.
What is this trade show today? What is this?
Well, Mike, speaking of expendable assets, that's what it feels like Scooter P is netting. I mean, listen, I'll tell you, Mike, one thing I do know is that the patrons are just, you know what, this is flex week, buddy. People are really just, you guys have no moral compass. You guys don't care. I mean, this is assault and battery, buddy. This is fucking insanity. Straight up, Mike, if you told me if I'm on a team, let me just ask you right now. Hurt for the rest of the season, Joe Burrow or T-Law, which one do you want straight up?
Even hurt Joe Burrow, I would rather have Joe Burrow on my dynasty rosters, even if unless, Adam, I'm in one of these best ball teams where I'm an elite contender, like it is a lock for me to walk right into the fucking championship game, right? Like nobody's going to touch me. And I'm like, okay, man, I just want to solidify that I am going to get there. This Joe Burrow injury sucks. The rest of my team's good. I don't fucking like Trevor Lawrence, but okay, I'll do this. I'll do this shit straight up. It's gonna hurt. I don't like it, but a fucking lineup league.
Lineup league. Here's the thing. I'm itching to move off of my T-Law shares as it is, frankly, right now. Right now,
yes.
I'm not doing it at a loss or a massive loss, let's say. But like, if I could trade my T-Law into Joe Burrow, I kid you not, on every single one of my contenders in lineup, it's done right now. It's done right now because here's the thing. I would rather I'd rather go get Joe Flacco. I'd rather literally spot start my Superflex
for the rest of the
fucking year. Go to the waivers, hit people up for their Jake Brownings, all that type of shit. Like, honestly, you tell me right now, if I have Joe Burrow coming back next year, I'll pay whatever it costs after this trade to just go get Jake Browning from that manager and just get rid of T-Law here. Like, this is child's play. This is absolutely trick or treat, buddy. This is a fucking trick for over the hill. This is bad.
At the end of the day, he got a free Matthew Golden and $26 in Fab to continue to do.
That's what I mean.
Start quarterback.
That's what I mean. The $26 in Fab just nets me probably, I don't. It doesn't even matter. And then for Matthew Golden 2 weeks in, Mike, to be just tossed around like this, like a little rag doll, is just wild.
Here's the craziest thing: Over the Hill is the worst team in the league. Lowest points scored, no wins, 0-2, ranked 12th right now. What the fuck would you do this for then? Like, well, it sucks Joe Burrow's out. Like, my hopes for this year are definitely done. But the fantasy gods have told me to wave the white flag. Perfect. He's not going to score points for me for the rest of the fucking year. So let's go. Hello 101 next year, baby. And then when Joe Burrow's back fully healthy, I have the 101 and Joe Burrow. This is way better than Trevor Lawrence.
Mike, I will say this. Shout out to a couple years ago when I was doing highly detailed, right before I got the job at BDG and couldn't do it. I'm going to bring that back in the off season this year. One of the things I talk about is there's certain managers you can see that are low volume traders. And basically when that's the case, a lot of times what they are is reactionary traders, right or wrong. An injury takes place, right? Something catastrophic happens. Like in the off season, you might be able to offer this person trades till you're blue in the face. And guess what happens? Nothing. You're just wasting your time and their time. All of a sudden, an injury takes place. They feel like they have to make a move. Sometimes you just being the one that's willing to make a move right then and there on the spot allows you to get a trade like this. Although it doesn't seem very consensual, if I'm being honest with you. But hey, what do I know? What's cooking good looking? Mike, here it is. This is one of the trades that I was actually kind of wanting to see if this still happens. And if I was to put a bunny move buy on this week's episode, I didn't. It was going to be someone like an A.J. Brown or a Smitty, a guy that's kind of getting a little bit devalued because of a couple games. Now, I will say there's some real reasons for concern, okay, for A.J. Brown. I'm not going to act like, hey, I'm completely confident that A.J. Brown is going to return to, top 5 upside and locked and loaded. But, Mike, if I'm D-Walk here, are you willing to do this? Are you willing to send away your first to grab A.J. Brown in a best ball start 12?
We got Eagles fan on Eagles fan crime here.
This is definitely
with an Eagle involved.
I can almost promise that there's a lot of upset nature back and forth, but agreeing on all right, he's not worth what he once was.
There are scenarios where yes, would I pay this? Yes, I would, but they're kind of few and far between. And when you dive into the context of this one, D-Walk, you're my guy, man, but I don't think I would feel very comfortable in doing this at all. Like, I don't want to make this bet, especially where he's at right now, because let's even think about if A.J. Brown comes out this week and he has a 20-point game, right? He's got 9, 10 targets, whatever the fuck it is, Adam. Mm-hmm. Does he really cost that much more than just a first this time, next week when we're doing the trade show? The answer is probably not. Probably not, right? Like, it's and that's coming back in a pretty big way.
I will say, knowing that
context, I don't think there's a fucking chance I would have done this for him.
Knowing that Schumer has him, right, and you're an Eagles fan, like, there's a chance his price goes up a little bit if he has a rebound week, or especially if he does it in a big way. I don't know that that's coming from what we've seen for the first 2 weeks. But to your point, here's the thing, right? Schumer's 0-2. I think one of the nice things if you're Schumer too is if I can kind of get myself more solidified to the basement here, right? That's where I think it's even more beneficial to Schumer than anything, is going ahead and just grabbing another first, right? Let me get that other first. Let me get a couple points off my rosters, even though for the first 2 weeks it's been beautiful. He probably hasn't made my team, made my
He's
lineup.
actually been very helpful to your to your tanking efforts.
Now let's ensure that he never makes my lineup. I will say this: when I look at his team, let's just make sure one, is it built right? I mean, Devontae Walker probably gave you some false sense of hope. 2 touchdowns. I mean, it's fine. It's fine. It's built okay. But Mike, here's what I will say. I don't know that this team all of a sudden now is, ready to hang with the big boys up top necessarily. It could be. I'm just kind of a little skeptical. And one of the big things I think we have to keep in mind is we have not seen a lot of injuries yet this year, frankly, right? You have a pretty damn healthy team. Knock on wood, I'm not wanting or wishing injuries to happen to you, but all of a sudden, just the simple exercise of what if 2 to 3 of your star players are good players even. They don't have to be star players. Good players all of a sudden aren't on your team. If you're having to put in, in your super flex spot a Browning, right, instead of a Dak all of a sudden, and you have to put in Rashid Shaheed as a weekly kind of make your roster every week. Mike, this team is not good enough, in my personal estimation, to make this type of a move, because the other thing is, God forbid something does happen to A.J. Brown and he gets hurt. You're talking about a completely dead weight anchor asset.
A couple things I want to bring up here with this move in this league specifically, and this is how you need to judge it, right? And this is why I'm being a little bit harder on D-Walk. This is a newer league, right? And it's definitely showing, if you just look at the records and you look at the points for, there is a shit ton of parity coming out of any startup, whether it's lineup or best ball, for the most part. And Adam, even more so on this one, because look at any one of these rosters. There's not a super bad team in the league, right? Nobody in the startup went, hey, I'm ready to wave the white flag already. I'll start trading these startup picks for.
Which is why it's such a vet move from Schumer, 100%.
Schumer is also the first one now to kind of signal this shop's open for business.
Blood in the
water.
water.
You guys think you're competing. You're all very close in record. You're all very close in points for. Everybody still thinks they has a fucking chance that their team's going to be good this year. Adam, this is the exact move that started your greatest.
The first domino of the shit league. Yes, 100%.
Yes, that started your greatest team that you've ever built. Sometimes being first to the party is great. Now, if Schumer can continue to make everyone believe that they're a contender and they have an opportunity to win this league, he's going to walk away with just a massive fucking haul, right? So,
right.
1, 2, even if you told me we didn't know about A.J. Brown not playing well, right? Not playing well to start the season. We just go back to when this was a startup. Whatever round he was taken in, 4th round, 5th round, whatever. If you told me at that time, if I'm Schumer and I said, hey, man, this pick's on the block, anybody want to give me something for it? And somebody comes with the 26th first, sometimes that's just more, listen, I could probably milk a little more out of you, but all you guys are drafting like you're going to win the fucking league this year. I'll be the first one to just start taking picks, man. Who wants my 6th rounder? Who wants my 7th rounder? Who wants the 8th rounder, right?
Well,
I'm going to sell all this shit.
No, that's exactly why. Sometimes in this scenario like this, now I don't know what he has left, so I'd imagine, probably still has plenty of assets, but Mike, one of the things to do is if you can be reasonable, right? Now, Burrow goes down. I think that's one of the first ways to know, hey, man, maybe this is where I go ahead and just help myself by bowing out, right? Mike, but you still have plenty of assets here that can net a first-round pick. Kyler Murray's available, right? Make him available. JSN should net you more than a first. Terry McLaurin can probably still net you a first. Tech can net you more than a first. I'm not doing the T-Mac thing. Don't ask, all right? I'm not doing it yet. DJ Moore, he might be a little bit harder, but one of these weeks he's going to have a really good target load and probably have a pop-off week. Boom. A first-round pick is very much in consideration for a player like that. God forbid someone really now trying to chase all these other trades that you've made gives you a first or a couple seconds for Danny Dimes, right? Mike, this is where what you do is make yourself completely out of the mix. Ensure that you get the first pick. 1 or 2 years of rebuilding like this, where you have the majority of teams giving you their future, where it's literally impossible by just a number standpoint for everyone to compete. They can't all make the playoffs, and they can't all beat each other in the playoffs. So
yeah.
Guess who benefits? You, big buddy. You. D-Walk, I'll say this. Like, I hope it works out for you, but to me, it's a pretty risky move where this early on in the year, listen, maybe A.J. Brown goes, wide receiver 1 overall this next week, and we all say, oh, my God, what a great move. But I think there's a lot more scenarios where, Mike, that's not what we're doing, right? We're saying, oh, shit, this is what's cooking good looking. What's cooking is D-Walk's team, Fuck, it's on fire.
I wouldn't have done this. Wouldn't even come close.
I don't think so. I think personally, Mike, I would have preferred to either hold on to my pick or get something that has a little more value insulation in case something catastrophic happens, right?
Yep.
So that's it, buddy. I'll tell you this. Listen, October's not here, but spooky season is absolutely alive. I mean, there's multiple trades in this week where we do 7 trades a week right now, okay? Some of these trades are just absolutely impossible. They don't exist in the real world. It's not on the elemental chart. It's not fucking real. Like, I think the first for Harold Fannin does exist. You can get that done. I think you have to find the right manager, but you can find a way to get that done. It was one of my money move calls. Rome for a single first. I mean, literally orphaned a team over this. We got this. I mean, somebody literally lost the ability to own their own dynasty team, making a trade like that. I can't
go on anymore.
We got to get rid of this guy. Get him the fuck out of here. He's off with his head. We got Terry McLaurin and this Kenneth Walker thing. Like, that was kind of sketchy. There was the Joe Burrow plus for T-Law. Stop it. I mean, what world is this? This is insane. This is spooky season.
Ridiculous. It's getting wild out there. One of the things I can definitely tell you, though, the Patreon community, we got your back. Plenty of good advice going out there. Plenty of good takes. You got the trade advice channel if you need it. And, of course, depending on which tier you end up in, you might join us up in Savage. We talk about trades and roster construction quite a bit up there, and there's plenty of feedback based on any move that you want to make. Patreon.com/South Harmon. It's definitely the place to be, especially with these merch drops, Adam. Yeah. Just the allure of being able to possibly spend just $35 and walk away with a $210 pair of fucking Jordan 3s in my size is nuts. It's fucking dope. Nuts.
Speaking of which, here, I'll give you a little preview. I mean, listen, it's
what we got now.
Look at all those are all. There's T-Rock called it Foot Locker. I mean, there's a lot of shoes back there. When we hit October, there's a specific type of merch shoes that are coming fast and furious. Make sure you get in there. We're doing also some giveaways randomly for the Savage members. If you do become a Savage member, there's so many different cool things in here. Also, if you just want to be a part of the trade show, you just want to flex like so many of our patrons did. I mean, I will say, Mike, I don't, aside from Patreon crime, which we can't, control, all right, all the trades were in favor of our patrons when they were out there making moves. So I do love to see that part. If you do want to get into the merch drops, put your trades in the trade show, learn a little more about your dynasty team, figure out how you can get back one of those teams you lost in that orphan type of a trade, that's the place to do it. Mike, also make sure you're checking out our sponsors, Fanatics, Certified, sh.it. Go get you a Rome jersey. I told you, there's 3 different colorways. Pretty sure by now you can get them all. Maybe not Caleb just now, but anyway, you guys do what you want to do. There's plenty of jerseys to go get, plenty of reasons to be excited about certain players. Make sure you get out some box breaks, sign shit.
Get them.
Ultimate Autographs, our partner. Love what they do there. Sign helmets, memorabilia. Signed, sh.it. Your way to get there. Aside from that, buddy, we'll see what the hell happens next week. If this is this early in the year, could be a long ride on the trade show. But we will see you back here. Same time, same place nonetheless. Next week, we're out of here. Peace.